A lot of young voters, some of whom believe there would be a stronger turnout for Kamala Harris, and now they're sharing what they want to see moving forward with Donald Trump.
Melanie joins us now live from the University of North Florida this morning. And Mel, engaged students say that their work is not over.
No, they don't. You know, we're talking with some honors students here at University of North Florida, and they have a lot of opinions about what happened last night and also moving forward. What you mentioned, some of the polls were showing that about 20% of young voters would go to Kamala Harris. And when you're looking at the numbers this morning, it's looking more like 8%. So there is a question, what happened there? But these students last night, for about a couple hours, they held a forum. It was student led. So they were the panel, and about 300 students in the audience asking them questions, some of them very tough questions about the election and what was going to happen, how they felt about the candidates, and they certainly had some answers. So we came to them this morning to find out how they're feeling this morning. So we have 5 of these students. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Let's kind of talk about what are some of the major issues that you think the country is facing right now.
I think some of the major issues that specifically young voters are concerned about are abortion rights and immigration policy.
All right, what about you?
I think environmental is a very big issue with young voters, and I think foreign policy is very important.
All right.
Say human rights here and abroad.
All right.
So LGBTQ issues and probably immigration as well.
All right, so immigration, I'm hearing twice. And for you?
Minority rights, the housing crisis. All those things.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, everyone's a little different. And what we are seeing is that maybe abortion wasn't the biggest topic that moved the needle when it came to the presidential race. Let me ask you a little bit about some of the amendments also, because I know that you were specifically talking about that. Any surprises there that they didn't pass here in the state?
Yeah, I'm very surprised 3 didn't pass. Florida is very very liberal with our amendments. Like we passed a $15 an hour amendment last time, so I was expecting 3 to get in very easily and for 4 to be very tight. So there was a shock there that 3 didn't go through.
All right. Any thoughts on how to get younger voters to vote? And when you think that the Democratic Party thought that they might have had a better chance of getting those younger voters, what would it take to get you all more engaged and maybe to sway one way or the other?
Well, we can't feel ignored anymore. We are very vocal on issues, if you can't tell, in the last couple of months, especially on foreign policy, and it just feels like we've often been ignored.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I think it also has to do a lot with education, because Gen Z as a generation is very exposed to social media, where we're also vulnerable to misinformation. So I feel like the education system, that's where some political critical thinking has to start for young voters to become an even more powerful force than they are right now.
Yeah. Any thoughts on what needs to happen to get more young people engaged?
I agree, just making sure that our voices feel heard. I mean, the conflict in Gaza has been a huge issue for young voters, and both candidates that we had for the main 2 parties ignored that, and I think that definitely swayed some people to third-party candidates.
Yeah, let's talk about civil discourse, because I know that was something that you all really made a point to discuss that in the forum last night. You're going to wake up today and you're going to be with a neighbor who disagrees with you, and how do you all feel the best way is to have those types of conversations so they end well with some type of resolution?
Yesterday during the panel, we were talking about how to build a good discussion rather than a fight with someone. And it is necessary to have some common ground, like establish some truth upon which to base the discussion. So I believe that's like the most important thing, to agree like, okay, this is the truths we have, now we can talk based upon that.
Yeah, and let me just step down here. I know that you weren't ecstatic about the results, but you are ready to move on and make some progress in this country.
I'm hoping to. It is a little difficult seeing how this election went, in like having faith that these conversations work. Just the strength of rhetoric in the past few years, past few elections, in determining who gets into office other than instead of policy. It's really disappointing to see, and when rhetoric is so strong, it makes it really hard to have those conversations, especially when people seem to just kind of decide what they want to believe and decide what's true without really having a conversation about it or listening.
All right, smart kids, thank you so much. Sorry, students, I can't say kids. Thank you so much for spending time. These are honor students, so they are ready to get back to class, but certainly a force to be reckoned with. We are live here at University of North Florida.